Go back to 1942. A gripping moment unfolds. 2,000 Japanese troops dressed as refugees. Conspiracy to use Hutong Bridge to quietly invade Yunnan. The plan culminated at the snap of a finger. But at that crucial minute, 60 seconds in the blink of an eye, our army bravely fought on the New River. An iron wall has been built on the west coast, blocked this hidden malicious Japanese invaders. Guard the course of history. Although Hutong Bridge is only 120 meters long, the bridge is only 5 meters wide, but his existence, for the time being, is crucial for China. Beneath his tiny body, witnessed the arrival of countless international aid supplies in China. The statistics actually show that from 1938 to the victory of the anti-Japanese war, various materials transported by Jingatong Bridge, breaking the 500,000 ton mark. You could say that this chain bridge, holding up most of the sky of the victory of the anti-Japanese war. During May 1942, 2,000 Japanese soldiers became refugees. Conspiracy to seize the bridge. In one fell swoop, he paved the way into Yunnan. The great wheel of history was almost distorted by them. Remember 1931. The Japanese army directed and performed the September 18th incident. Shocked the world at the same time. The prelude to a full-scale invasion of China. In the days that followed, their elaborate conspiracy. Intercept. Isolation is for China. In a world without access to external heads of state, the island state realized the dream of winning the championship without firing a shot. But it will attack and defend against the bridge. Prove that we are not weak. In the dust of history, this story is the best example of perseverance and courage. Told to 1939, international aid to China. Only the single line of Dianmian Highway is left. Hutong Bridge. This bridge is located at the throat of the Burma Highway. Natural Importance Report. It is a key strategic shipment. Key nodes in China. Under the protection of the Chinese army, the bridge became a constant source of supplies. The main artery transported into China. The Japanese will definitely not repair it. Impossible to watch China. There's also such a life passage. Therefore, Hutong Bridge became the target they had to take. From 1940 to 1942, the Japanese used 168 aircraft. Yes, this bridge is only 120 meters long. 6 waves of bombing were carried out. They want to completely cut off China's communication with the outside world. Although the local defenders have little air resistance, relying on the interpretation of their tenacity and bravery, the bridge can only be protected. Hidden beneath the waves of Japanese bombing. Japanese warship bombing was ineffective. Start making small calculations and planning other plans to take the bridge. Before long, they even came up with a dirty trick. Let 2,000 Japanese troops disguise themselves as refugees. Attempt to quietly approach and annex the bridge. It was a close call. The Chinese army relies on. Take that crucial minute mechanism reaction. Defuse the crisis. Make sure the bridge is safe and the Japanese don't get paid. Except for the Chinese army, defense of the homeland is essential. Hutong Bridge for the Japanese army's ambitious plans. It is also a transportation node to capture China. Fortunately, the timely action of the Chinese army. Only then can the bridge be used as a risk. History wasn't rewritten by that bad minute. In 1942, the smoke of gunpowder billowed in the western Yunnan battlefield. The Japanese offensive was fierce to the extreme. They not only captured the cover of Yunnan, key areas such as Mengshi and Longling, but the expeditionary force with undetermined achievements could only choose to retreat. There were defeated troops everywhere. The ambitions of the Japanese army have expanded to the extreme. They are pinning their hopes on the Hutong Bridge, trying to penetrate deep into the hinterland of Yunnan through this bridge. The Japanese plan to open the Hutong Bridge. Once successful, the consequences are unimaginable. Cut off China's international aid channels. You can use Hutong Bridge as a springboard. Forcibly break through to Kunming, even aimed at the southwest gate. Pave roads to capture more cities. If Kunming loses the line, Chongqing's current national wartime capital, safe and insecure, the entire war of resistance will suffer a fatal blow. Seeing the Japanese army have bad intentions. Expeditionary Force. Intelligence address. The Commander-in-Chief of Engineers received orders from Chiang Kai-shek. Blow up the bridge when necessary. After General Ma Xiangyu received the decree, this task was handed over to Captain Zhang Zhu. A pair of military police and engineers remain under the bridge. Captain Zhang is solely responsible. If the situation is urgent, the explosion will be triggered. No need to report. The Japanese will not be willing to give up this connection. Bridge of victory. But they understand that head-to-head is not the way to go. Then he came up with a new idea to pretend to be a refugee. Fortunately, I saw through it at a glance. That minute turns crisis into opportunity. China is in crisis. On the morning of May 5th, 2,000 Japanese soldiers became refugees, quietly close to Hutong Bridge. 2 small tricks. I planned to cross the bridge in the chaos, in one go. This scheme of theirs, on the surface, it's smart. And it happened because the scene was a mess. At that time, there would be a sea of people on the west bank of the bridge, mixed with defeated deserters, a big shuttle truck transporting goods, and the people who fled the famine. The bridge was damaged by the Japanese bombing before. I can barely walk. It's not a mess. To hold steady, people can cross the bridge quickly and safely. The team led by Zhang Zuwu opened fire and tested the police. Maintain order. As soon as the gun goes off, the Japanese invaders who were hiding thought it was a flaw, so he did it without saying a word. Fortunately, Zhang Zuwu had foresight. Bought explosives at the foot of the bridge in advance, after discovering the tricks of this group of Japanese invaders. Captain Zhang understood their tricks in seconds. Without hesitation, ordered the bombing of Hutong Bridge. The Hutong Bridge collapsed. The dreams of the Japanese army were also shattered. IF. The Japanese plan to get in was not discovered. Hutong Bridge really fell into enemy hands. The consequences are simply unimaginable. I think it may even be necessary to rewrite the process of the anti-Japanese war, bringing immeasurable trauma to countries and nations. Simply at this critical juncture, Zhang Zu's mechanism saw through the disguise of the Japanese army. The Hutong Bridge was successfully blown up at the last moment, disintegrated the Japanese army at once, trying to hit Chongqing through Hutong Bridge, a conspiracy that directly threatens the security of the country's rear. Blow up Hutong Bridge? Really sorry. It's for China after all. The Merit Bridge that transported a large amount of strategic materials, but saved the emergency. Secure the gate to southwest China. The sacrifice of Hutong Bridge. It also ensured our final victory. After blowing up the bridge, the Japanese attempt to cross the New River, forced to end. 2 years in a row, their arrogant plans were thwarted again and again. The trick of blowing up the bridge is not only a loss, it also gave me a respite for the expeditionary force. Let them adjust their military strength, space to recuperate. It also challenges the future of the anti-Japanese war. Lay a solid foundation. Strategically, the Japanese army led by the nose. The original tactical layout has to be redone. Small dance music of the anti-Japanese war. Therefore, a new dance step was taken. That's a lot of birds. Back then, the Hutong Bridge was pressed tightly. Zhang Zuwu on the urgent button. A lot of credit. I only want to get the various routines of the Kuomintang Deep. Although Zhang Zuwu has made great contributions, in the end, Li Mao was replaced by a prince. Only got a commemorative medal, and a mere $1,000 in consolation money. Then came 1944. The front line in western Yunnan is hot. Hutong Bridge has been overhauled again. It's almost like fighting again. Continued to play a mainstay on the road of resistance to Japan. Restored access to Hutong Bridge. Officers and soldiers' supplies go north and south like a tide. And they fought. Time flies until the victory in August 1945. The Japanese army fled for life. New China followed on October 1st, 1949. Reborn like a phoenix nirvana. The current Hutong Bridge has been successfully retired. The new face of Hongqi Bridge. Quanfei is standing 400 meters downstream of him. Hutong Bridge is worthy of its legendary time. The scenery has withdrawn from the stage of history. Now the rolling river goes its own way. Can't stop our footsteps. But the story of the bridge, the once ironclad anti-Japanese posture. Still thinking about it. In the ears of every Chinese son and daughter. Witness those years. The immortal history of our bloody battles with our enemies.